correct or anything need to be modified in this, and then we can start with the basic Unix. So it seems to be okay. Is this the same thing you have with you?
Yeah, this is the same one. Yeah.
All
Jay,
right.
yeah, I have a concern actually.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
I get a detailed explanation on some topics which I feel difficult?
Okay. So you can actually let me know
Yeah,
what are the topics
I
are
just
there.
have a basic knowledge on Unix, I mean, and shell scripting too, because in Docs I have a session on shell scripting also. So I only have a
Okay.
basic knowledge. So if I feel anywhere something which is going out of my control, I need a detailed explanation. That is my concern. That is what I'm expecting from my end.
Okay. 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 So the thing is, it's like, we will discuss the topics and we can have the practicals at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
So it's all commands. Unix is all commands, and scripting is also it's full of commands only, right?
Yeah.
So
Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Jane. Yeah, Jane. The Mahindra is the new candidate joined just now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so please introduce.
Right. Hi, Mahendra. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? Morning.
Good. Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Okay. So Mahendra, we were discussing. So Rohita is also there with us.
Okay.
So she's a fresher and she is willing to learn shell scripting and Unix. So may I have your introduction, please? What you do, what currently you're doing right now?
So I'm currently working here. I do have 4+ of work experience. I have been in Unix background from last 4 years, but I don't have much scripting knowledge. But I do can understand the basic level. But I just want to get more hands-on and improve on my scripting language. But
All
ideally, I
right.
do have like 4 years of work Unix experience.
Okay, so you work into Unix administration or Unix support?
Actually, we have Oracle as a database, but most of our file movement it's based on Unix. So I used to have some hands-on in that way.
So you're using Unix commands to maintain and
Yeah, that's right.
administrate your Oracle database. That's what I understood.
That's correct. So we do
All right.
have some scripts. I used to navigate around it, but I do have some understanding knowledge, but just not on the writing knowledge. So just want to
Okay.
get more into it.
Okay. Welcome, Mahendra, and welcome, Rohita, both of you. So I shared my screen, Mahendra. So I was discussing the same with the Rohita. So this is our training curriculum.
Uh-huh.
So, so I think this is the same curriculum which is being shared with you also, right? Or
Yeah. Uh,
right. So we will be discussing from the starting, right? The architecture of the Unix file system and all. And then so this is the content. So we'll be discussing content wise. So Rohita had some concerns that she knows the basic Unix, but she requires some detailed description on some of the topics. And I
okay.
think you have worked on the Unix, so you require more of the scripting knowledge,
Yep, that's
right?
correct.
Okay. Okay. Rohita, you were telling me the detailed description regarding some topics. So can I know those topics that I can plan my sessions accordingly?
Jayant, I'll let you know actually after the curriculum.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So okay. So let me start. Right. I'm sharing the virtual. So I have the virtual box on which I have installed the CentOS machine. So I hope you'll be able to see the virtual machine which I have opened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we start from the basics. So what is Unix? I mean, so if I ask you what do you mean by Unix, so
It's a command prompt.
it's a command prompt, okay?
It's operating system, multi-user operating system.
Right, that is correct. So, I believe you both are logged into your Windows right now. You're not working on the Unix, right? So we are sharing a session. We are discussing on the Windows. So, Windows is another operating system. So what is the difference between Windows and Unix? Or let's say we have the Apple Mac operating system, or we have different sort of operating systems, right? So, I just want a cross communication, yeah, and yeah, I mean, so what is operating system? I mean, be it Windows or the Unix, what do you mean by the operating system?
Which takes command from us and gives us the output, desired output, which helps in getting out the desired output.
Okay, so the operating system is nothing but it's an interface by which a user communicates with the computer. Simple. So whatever we type on the computer, right? So when initially when you joined the session, so what you did, I mean, you went to your Gmail account, you opened the session, you open your sharing portal and all. So what you are doing? User is actually logging to the computer, and operating system is the one which contains everything within your computer system, right? So whatever you are doing, user communicates with the operating system via hardware and the user interface, via keyboard, via and whatever we type that's been interpreted internally by the OS, right? So this we already know all these things, but this is very basics. So why Unix? Why not Windows? I mean, why people are moving towards the Unix OS rather than they can easily work on the Windows, but why Unix? Any idea?
Security.
Okay, and apart from the security, any other thing? I mean,
No.
so Unix is one of the strong operating systems, and all the e-commerce or the banking sectors they use Unix because it's highly portable, it's highly secure, multi-user, multi-portable. You know, if 1,000 users are logged into one single Unix machine with the same IP address, Unix is very much capable of handling all the users. But at the same time, if you try to log into Windows machine via your MSTSC or RDB control, the machine will break because it's not very stable. It cannot take so much of load. So Unix is very, very strong. It's being developed by Linus Torvalds earlier in 19 some. I mean, I don't remember the year. And later on, people started using, since Unix is the open source. So what do you mean by open source? Any idea? So we say this is the open source operating system or this is the open source software. So what exactly it means? So guys,
Where we can change the source code.
okay,
Any user can change the source code there.
okay. So Ajay, you are there? Hello? Hello? Guys, I'll just come in 2 minutes. I need to go to washroom. I'll just come in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello? Yes?
Hello, Jayant. Can you hear me?
I think Jan is away for 2 minutes. He should be back again.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes?
Yeah, Jayant. There is any problem?
Jan is away, Mahendra.
Yeah. Yeah, Mahindra.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to go to washroom actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's okay.
All right. So, Mahendra and Rohit, so since we are discussing, right, we have started our session, but you can share expectations. I mean,
Okay.
you know, so I want your expectation before we start any of the modules, so
Yeah.
that we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, that's great,
Yeah,
Jan.
am I loud and clear? I mean, is my voice is audible to both of you?
It's clear to me.
Okay. What about Rohita? Hello.
Yeah. So Jan, you want me to go to?
Where's Rohita is not there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay, so Rohita, okay. So both of you, I want your expectations initially, how you want the session to move on.
So then here is my expectation for this course. I would like to get on more experience on shell scripting. So when I say more experience, I would like to
Okay.
write myself some scripting language programs which will be at my client place. So imagine like the scripting, it's like mostly it should be reporting for me, like grab so output from a query or from files and deliver a report. Something like this. Did you got me or? Uh, Also, would like to integrate the scripting with some SQL and PL SQL also,
Okay.
and all connecting to databases.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what mostly basically I was looking for. Like go to connect to the database,
Okay.
whatever query I gave it, and I need the result, and from there need to provide in some HTML kind of report.
Okay. All right.
Yep, that's primary expectation from me.
All right. So, okay, we shall start now. So, let's go to the history of the Unix. So, I've just opened a website called as tutorialpoint.com. So, in my PPT, I don't have the theory available, right? The architecture comparison and all. So, I've just opened a website so you might be aware of this one, right? tutorialspoint.com.
Yes, I saw it.
Okay. So Unix is basically, there's a concept called as the kernel and the shell. So do I need to discuss the kernel and shell? What kernel is, what shell is? Or you are already aware of it?
I am good.
No, Jayant.
Okay. So Unix is basically, if we talk about the architecture of the Unix, so there's something called as shell and there's something called as kernel, right? So what is kernel and what is shell? So I opened this terminal in front of you, right? So this is my Unix terminal, correct? I can write any sort of commands. I can do anything here, right? So what this shell means. So on the terminal I am working and this is our shell. So shell is nothing but it's a command interpreter. So whatever user writes or whatever your engineer or whatever any person writes on the screen, that's been interpreted by the shell. And in the backend, it is understood by the kernel. So our computer it understands the language of 0 and 1, right? But being a human, right, we don't remember, we cannot remember 0 and 1 and we can write in the binary language. So there's something called as human language on which we write our tasks, our commands, our scripting, our programs or anything. And that's, so whatever we are writing on the shell. So if I need to check on what shell I'm working on, right? So I'll just type echo dollar shell. So echo is equivalent to a printf in the C language. Dollar shell is the variable. That's the defined variable for the Unix, which contains your shell name. So let's say I wrote a command ls. It gives me some output. So how it happened? I mean, so I wrote the ls on the shell prompt. So shell recognizes, okay, user has given the ls command. In the backend, it sends a command to the kernel. Kernel converts this command into machine language, right? It processes with the CPU and the memory, gives output back to the shell. So that's how, it's a very basic of the Unix shell in the kernel architecture. So if I talk about the Unix architecture, this is how it shows. And this is the shell, right? This is the kernel, and this is the hardware. And all the commands are whatever we are typing. We are typing on the shell, right? That's being sent to the kernel. Kernel processes within the CPU, and sends back to the shell again. Shell is basically it's an interpreter between the user and the hardware. So any doubts in this?
No.
Okay. Mahendra, any doubt?
No,
Simple,
I'm
right?
good. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we have one topic, favors of the Unix, right? So, so what do you mean by favors of the Unix? So Unix is basically it's the initially when it was developed or designed by Linus Torvalds, it was the open source operating system. So people came up with different thoughts, different concepts. They downloaded the source code, they modified the source code accordingly, and they developed their own operating system. So if I say Unix flavors, there's something called as open source, and there's something called as licensing version of the Unix. So are you aware what different licensing version of the Unix is available in the market? So if you talk about the open source operating system, we have Red Hat, then we have OpenSUSE, then we have Fedora, then we have Ubuntu, and so on. We have so many open source versions for the uh, open source. So for the licensing version, are you aware what all different OS we have for the Unix? Okay, we have HPUX, so that's a proprietary open source version for the Unix from the HP. So HP owns this particular licensing version. So if you want to
Muted.
You want a support on that, right? So people do buy the licensing version because they first of all, their hardware is very compatible. It's very strong. If you go for these Solaris and AIX especially, their storage, their rack space and all, it is very stable. It never breaks down. Secondly, you get the platform support. People are available. If anything happens, people are available to support you in the backend in relation to the OS, right? So comparison of the Unix with the Windows, I initially discussed with you, right? Architecture we already saw. Okay. So what is the file system basically? So Unix file system is one of the file systems for the Unix OS. But generally, when you speak about file system, what it is exactly? I mean, you know, you don't know. Yes.
The structure.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea, Jan.
Okay. All right. So file system is nothing but it defines the file structure or the storage structure, how your information has to be stored.
How we organize?
Sorry?
How organize file systems?
మరి
చెప్పచ్చు మీకు దానికి తెలియదు కామన్ సెన్స్.
నేను చెప్పాను, నాకు అన్ని వాడు చెప్పాలి.
Sorry? You were saying something? Guys, you were saying something? I mean,
No, I'm good.
okay, so we were discussing regarding the file system, right? So file system is nothing but it defines how your information, you are storing the information on your operating system, right? You're storing your files, your programming scripts, you're storing your video files or the audio files. So you're storing all these things in your operating system. So there has to be some way by which your storage structure has to be managed, right? So file system defines how your information or the how your information has to be stored in your operating system, correct? So let's say, so are you aware which which file system we use in the Windows? So generally, when we install the Windows operating system, so what file system are we using in that?
Windows Explorer?
So by default, it comes by, sorry?
Is it Windows Explorer?
No, that's the web browser. So if you go to the Windows properties, right? So you'll find NTFS. So NTFS or the FAT32, that's the OS, that's the file system we use in the Windows. But the Unix, there are multiple file systems like the ext2, ext3. So if I open the page again, if I go back, you know, so firstly everything in the Unix, it starts from the root, right? So you might be aware of this. So if I need to check what file system I'm using in this, right, I'll just give a command called as df-k, right? So it says this is the file system. So are you aware of this command? So it defines all your partitions, the way we have the partition in the Windows, C drive, D drive, E drive and all, right? So we have the partitions defined in the Unix when we install the Unix OS. It is mounted on this. So the mounting means these are attached. So these are equivalent to a C or D drive in the Windows. If you go back to a Windows OS, you normally see C drive and D drive, all the partitions. So here the partition is like, so in Unix everything is a command line firstly. So we are not clicking and, you know, it's not GUI. it's all command line. So everything in the Unix it starts from the root. So we call this as a root directory. So under root we have everything available. So all the subdirectories or all the files, they are actually residing under root directory. So this is the file system we have, right? On this file system, so we have created all these partitions like //dev shm /boot and all. Okay. No, my concern is we see, /dev sd1 and all. So any idea what you mean by this? Have you ever ran this command and saw on your Unix screen?
/dev/sdl or
Yeah, this one actually.
no idea.
Okay. So SD1, so we have different sort of hard disk, right? So all our partitions, all the information is stored on the hard disk. So SD1 is one of the hard disk, right? So all the hardware, let's say it can be a pen drive, it can be a floppy drive, it can be your hard disk. They are stored under /dev, right? So when we try to access anything in the Unix, any device, so it has a device file under /dev, and using that device file we are accessing our hardware. So SD1 is one of the type of the hard disk available in the market. So in my system I am using SD1 right now. So it is showing SD1 as one of the hard disk. Correct? On this hard disk I have created a partition called as /boot. So when you install the Unix, it gets automatically created, but for the understanding purpose, I'm telling you. So shall I proceed further?
Yep.
So we have covered all these things till now, right? So you have any doubts in this? You have any concerns with the teaching? You want any improvement or anything? So you can tell me right now so that I can proceed further. Mahendra and
James, can you scroll down and let me see what all the topics we have here?
sure. So these are all the topics, different types of the files, basic commands, creating users in the groups, system startup and shutdown, working with files and directories, input and output, comparing files. So you're more interested in the scripting, so it will come later on, but we can actually, it's not like we need to go via this content only, we can go up and down. I mean, if we want scripting to be covered initially, we can do that.
So how like will it be any practical while you teaching, or it will be only like oral? How it will be? Or like
There will be the practicals. I'll give you some practical sessions. So the thing is, I'll be giving you the so while discussing, right, we will be doing practically, and after the session completes, I'll give you some questions to be solved. So by the time we have our next class, we can discuss on that in the starting.
Okay.
Practicals will be there, obviously, yes. So so you can specify what you want further. I mean, I'm just asking you the feedback because this is the first session we are going, and I don't want any confusion or any hiccups later on.
Okay.
So are you okay, Mahendra, with this, or you need any changes in this?
Yeah, mostly I'm concerned on the SEDoc. I think those are the main I'm looking for. Yeah,
SCD no.
yeah, grep, so that I can able to quickly write up something. That's what.
We will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will do that. And Rohita, what about you? You're not speaking anything, so that's my concern for you.
Jan, can you show us some of the scenarios for the shell scripting? I mean, we have.
So you want only shell scripting, not these commands and all. I mean, you want me to start with the shell scripting, or you want me to start the way we have the curriculum available with us?
I need shell scripting first because I don't know. I need that.
Okay, so we will start with the shell scripting. That's not an issue, right?
Jan, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Both Unix and shell scripting are interlinked, right? I mean, if I get used to that Unix commands, it will be easy for me to write them in shell and all.
Yeah. So to learn the scripting, we should know all the commands first. We should be aware of the OS concepts. See, scripting is a programming language. It's similar to the C language, which we have, right? But whatever we are typing within the within the scripting, they will be the Unix commands only. So we should be aware of the Unix commands. That's the reason initially, I think in the content, they have covered all these things, right?
Okay. Okay, no problem. We'll go with the Unix first and then the shell.
Yeah. So this we can cover very fast, and then we can go start with the scripting, right? So, all right. Okay, so I got a concern, so I'll focus more on the scripting, right? So let's start with the different types of the files. So any idea how you create files in the Unix? So I want a cross communication, both of you, please. Yeah. So that I'll feel happy while teaching.
We can
so
do
how
via,
to create files in the Unix?
we can do via
What
VI.
command we use for that?
VI iter we can use.
VI, okay. Any other command? So VI is basically it's an editor by which we open the file. So we use a command called as patch, So before we go with the commands, I would like to specify a few things. Like if I need to check in which folder I am, I'll use a command called as pd. So it says I'm under /root. So I'm under /root directory. If I need to list all the files under /root, I'll type a command ls. If I need to, so in Unix, everything is a commands. In every commands, they have different options available. So ls command I have typed first, I got the output. Now if I want more refined output, I'll type ls -l. So all the options with the commands, they are prefixed with the -hyphen sign. So if I type ls -l, it will show me all these things. So are you aware of the permissions on the files and directories?
Yes. Yes, Jayant, I have a basic idea on those commands.
So I would like to discuss the permission on the files and directories, right? So if I type ls -l, it will show me all the files and directories under my present working directory, right? So PWD means present working directory. I'm working on this particular path right now. Under this, I have all these files and directories available. Correct? So these are the permissions. Yeah. Any doubts?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. So these are all list of all the files and directories, right? On the right hand side. And if it is the permission are starting with D, that means this is a directory. If it is not starting with D, that means it is a file.
Okay. Hello. 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 I can't hear Jen.
Jayant, we can't hear you.
Hello. 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 We can't hear you. Hello.
Dispatch.
Unmuted.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Jayant, are you there? Hello, Jayant, are you there? Hello. Yeah, Jayant, are you there? Hello. Hello.
Hello. I think his internet connection is lost or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, right, Mahindra.
No, no.
Yeah, guys. Actually, the trainer has some internet problem right now. Just wait a 5 minutes. He will be re-logging. Okay.
Hi, is this Ajay who is talking?
Hello.
Yeah, is this Ajay who is talking just now?
Yeah, this is Ajay actually.
So I got a couple of emails saying that to attend the trainer is waiting, but I don't know is it to me only or someone else because I already joined to this meeting, right?
Okay.
But my Gmail says please join, the trainer is waiting. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. This is Venkatesh from Zoom Trainings.
Okay. Hi.
Uh, you asked something about, you asked Ajay about something?
Yeah, I was saying that I got an email saying that are you available for the training demo? The trainer is waiting for 20 minutes, but I'm asking if it is to me or someone else because I was in this meeting since last 30 minutes, but I got last 7 minutes back. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We shall see that and I'll let you know.
Okay. How long is this class today? Hello.
Yeah, it may take a 1 hour.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not aware of the schedule, so that's the reason I'm asking. So more like close to 7:30 Central Time.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Hello. Guys, can you hear me? I'm sorry, actually my internet got disconnected. So,
Yes, we can hear you.
all right. So where we stopped actually, I was discussing the files and directories. So where we actually disconnected at what point?
The file
About
system
file
you're talking.
permission.
Yeah.
File permissions.
File permissions. Okay. So I was actually discussing the file permissions. So what I did was I created a directory called as test_unix, right? So what I'll do is I'll do this once again, you know. So I'm under a path/root, you know. So we will be let's say if you're working on any project. So what we do is we save our files in one particular folder which we create. So let's create one of the directories under which we'll be creating all the files, scripts, and directories. So let's say Unix underscore training. So this is a folder which I create. I use a command called as cd, change directory, to go inside this particular folder. Okay. So I'm under path/root/unix_training now, right? Now, if I need to create a couple of files and directories under it, so I'll use a command called as patch file1, file2, file3, and all. So if I do ls-l, I'll see all these files under this path. Because I created all these files, let's create some directories now. Let's say dir1, dir3. Let's create 3 directories. So if I do ls, I'm getting this output. If I need output in long format, I use ls-l. So you can see here all the directories, their permission are starting with D. So D specifies, okay, this is not a file, but it is a directory, right? This is the time on which all these files or directories got created. This is the creation time. This is the date. This is the size of the directory so far. You know, this is the root. So here root is the user of the directory, and this root, this says it is a group. So the group owner and the user owner of this particular directory is root and root, right? And these are the permissions, and this is the link count. So I'll come to the link count later on. So let's discuss on the permissions first. So any one of you, if I ask you, what are the permissions on the file F1? So if you have any idea, you can just tell me so that I can understand how much you know about the permissions and all.
Read, write are the only permissions there.
Okay, so read and write is for the user, right?
Yeah.
And read is for the group, and other read is for the others. So this file has this permission. So from where this permission is coming actually? Since I am creating a file or a directory, so by default these permissions are assigned to it, right? So these are the permissions which are by default assigned to file F1. So there's something called as umask in the Unix. Umask, right? So it says 022. So umask is nothing but we are masking or hiding the permissions. So by this command you can just understand umask is basically to hide the permissions on files and directories. So by default in Unix, permissions are for the files. It is for the files, it is 666, right? And for the directories, it is 777. So we are talking about the octal method of the permissions on the Unix. So I'll come to the octal method. So by default, we have these permissions assigned to the files and directories by default, right? Now, if I need to check the octal value or the octal permissions, you know, for the file F1, so read and write. So if I come here, if I type read, write, and execute. So these three permissions we have on the file. So read in the Unix, it is denoted by 4, a numeric 4. Write is denoted by 2, and execute is denoted by 1. Right? So you both are clear till now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So the read permission is denoted by 4, write permission is denoted by 2, and execute permission is denoted by 1 in the Unix, right? So if I check this permission now, let's say this is the permission which I have. Let me copy this on the notepad. Okay. So what it means is for the user we have permission 4 and 2, right? Read is denoted by 4, write is denoted by read is denoted by 4 again. So the actual permission on this file is 644, right? 4 plus 2. So for the user it is 6, for the other group it is 4, and for the others also it is 4. So so we spoke about the umask, right? So what umask is, it is hiding the permission. So by default the maximum permission should be 666, but since the umask is set as 022, so by default when we are creating any file in the Unix, we are getting a permission 644. Correct? And what about the directories? I mean, if I talk about the default permission which we have for the directories right now, so they are. So can anybody can tell me what is the permission on the directory right now by default in terms of the octal value?
Okay. 4,
So for the
4,
user,
1.
it is, yeah.
4,
Okay.
1, 4.
So it's 7 for the user, right?
Yeah.
What about the group?
5.
Correct. And same for the others also.
Yeah.
By default maximum is 777, but since we have the umask 022, so it comes at 755. So so by umask means we are hiding the permissions. So why we need to hide a permission? That is for the security purpose. I mean, that's the only reason we hide anything, right? So we need not to give the permission so that a particular person, or let's say Unix person or the DBA or the Java person, he should have a limited permission what he requires for his project. So we can change umask, like if I change umask to, so right now my umask value is 022. So the first 0 is for the sticky bit. So we are not more concerned about it right now. So we can change a umask, let's say 000, right? So now my umask value is 000. If I create any directory now, dir, let's say test, let me create any file, let's say file underscore test. So by default this file and directory, it should have a maximum permission because I'm not masking anything, right? So dir test which I created, it has all the permissions you can see here. For the user it is read, write, execute, same for the group, same for the others, and for the file it is 666, read, write for user, group and others. So I hope till here it is clear to you, for both of you. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good.
all right, thank you so much. So the content says regular files, directory and device files. So the regular files are nothing but they are the files which we create here, right? directory files are nothing but when we create any directory using mkdir. So the permission part is preceded by D. And what is device files? I mean, I spoke about device files earlier. So device files are nothing but let's say you inserted a dongle into your laptop, or you inserted a pen drive into a laptop, or you inserted your let's say USB cable. So how your computer or the Unix OS detects. So for everything in the Unix, for every hardware, whatever you need to access, it has a device file created under it. It's available. So if you want to open a car, right? So you have a key to access the car. Without key, you cannot open a car. In the same way, when you need to access any device from the Unix OS, so by default, it has the device files present for it. Let's say floppy drive, right? So if you need to access a floppy drive, you have this particular device file, right? If you want to access a DVD, so this is a device file. So internal, obviously, it contains a lot of coding. So everything in the computer, that's a coding internally, right? But we are not concerned. We are not creating any code for it. If you want to create any connect any pen drive, simply a device file will get activated and you can access the pen drive. So CD-ROM again, you know, for CD, for DVD, for floppy drive, for hard disk and all. So you have a device file present in your Unix OS. Simple. So for accessing a hard drive, right? So since we are storing the information, let's say I create a file called as GG. So this file is getting stored somewhere on the hard disk. So to access the hard disk, you have a device file present. If you want to mount anything, repartition, if you want to format your hard disk, so what you will do is you will go to /dev, you will go to, so, and this is the device file for your hard disk. So we call, so whatever we are accessing via hard disk, those files are called as block device files, because your information in the Unix, they are stored in form of the your blocks, right? So under blocks you have different multiple bytes available, correct? So in the form of blocks, your information gets stored in the Unix. So any one of you is aware of the inode number, what inode number means?
Inode, what is?
So have you ever heard of the term inode in the Unix?
No, not from my side.
No?
No, Jayant.
Okay. So inode number is similar to the pointer in C language, correct? So so what pointer means? Pointer is basically, it defines the location where your particular information, your file or directory is stored, right? So let's say I go back to the directories of the files I created. Let's say I have Unix training. So if I need to see the inode number for respective files and directories, along with the L option, I can give I option. So I specifies inode number. So these are the inode numbers. So whenever we try to access any file in the Unix or any directory in Unix, so your inode number tells, okay, this is the location where this particular directory is stored. You know, so it's a pointer location. Okay, this you're trying to access this file. This is the address. So if you want to post a card or anything to your relative or friend or family, right? So you write the postal code and all these things. So it's similar. I mean, so this is the pointer location to your information. Simple. So so we discuss about these things, you know. So any doubts in different types of files? Mahindra and Rohita?
No chance.
Okay,
I'm good.
so basic commands, I mean PWD and all we already discussed, you know. PWD is the present working directory, then log name. Log name will tell you by which user you are logged in, right?
Yeah.
So via which user you are logged into your Unix machine. So if I want to check all the users which are currently active, you know, on my machine, I use a command called as finger. So if you tell me, okay, finger command is not working here. Let's try. So there are a couple of commands in the Unix. You know, for the same thing, you have different commands. So who commands tells who all are logged into my machine by what terminal, right? So let's say if I open one more terminal here, if I type the who command again, so I'll have one more entry, you know. So because I have opened this terminal, so to check on what terminal I'm logged in, type a command tty. So terminal is again, it's a GUI, right? So it is accessible, or the location for it is under /dev because it's a GUI. I told you all the hard drive, your GUIs, your hard disk, floppy drives, whatever you feel, you can feel or look, you know, that is a device
Yeah.
file under Unix.
Jen?
Yeah, Rohita,
Hello.
tell me.
Jen, I have some urgent work. So don't mind, please. I'll join the session tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks, and yeah, see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.